Alright, welcome back to our series of experiments on flight. So far you've examined balance, drag, weight, and lift. So last week you did a bunch of experiments that revolved around Bernoulli's principles of lift. This week we're going to combine thrust and a little bit of lift. So at the back table you're going to find some Scotch tape. You're going to need a pencil for this experiment, so make sure you bring along a pencil from your desk. You'll find some straws. They'll be at the back. And you'll find 2 sheets of paper, right? And you notice that they're ripped in half. You're going to need both sheets. So step 1, you'll be making something called Strawkets. So you'll be making 2 rockets, and then you're going to be modifying a third one of the rockets. And I'll walk you through all those. And at the end, you answer a series of questions that ask you to explain why you see what is happening. And again, try to relate it to the concepts we've been looking at. Airflow specifically, Bernoulli's principle is pretty much throughout flight. So it does even apply in this sense. Specifically with the concept of faster air creating lower pressures, slower air creating higher pressures, right? From the experiments we saw last week, we noticed that higher pressures of air forces lower pressure up, and that's what gives us lift. And in the balloon experiment, we saw like the inverse relationship. When we blew through the balloon, that was faster air. Slower air was on the outside of the balloon and drew the balloon together. So we were able to see Bernoulli's principle in action. So a couple of steps here you're going to have to do. Step 1, you take your pencil and one of these sheets of paper. And what you're going to do is take it from the corner of the paper, like that, and you're going to begin to roll, okay, as best as you can, trying to keep the pencil in there. The pencil is used as a guide, and as you continue to roll, you can see you're making kind of a little rocket type apparatus. Now, when you're rolling, you don't want to roll too tight. You want to have a bit of a gap in there, because we're going to be comparing 2 different types of styles of rockets. So as you continue to roll, to the magic of television, this is how your finished product will kind of look, right? And you notice the gap in there is nice and wide. It's kind of shaped like a cone, okay? So that's very important. Also, so as you're rolling and you get near the end of your rocket, what you're going to be doing is taping down the front of the rocket, this portion here. So what you'll kind of do is fold it over, a little bit of a fold, and then you'll take a piece of Scotch tape and you'll tape it down, right, to kind of give it a blunted tip, right? And your rocket should end up kind of like that. Very important to look at the inside. You see there's not a tight wound. Okay, so that's Strawket number 1, and remember to tape the front there. Okay? And then what you're going to do is take the other piece of paper, and this time you're going to roll from the long end. So you're going to roll it thusly. Okay, not from the corner, but from the wrong end. And you're going to try and make this one a little bit tighter. So you want a nice tight roll here. The pencil's a good guide, nice and flat. And you're going to roll, 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 roll. You'll get to the end again. Same kind of idea. Do a little quicker here. Punch down the front. And again, I did a little fold. Doesn't have to be perfect or beautiful. And you're going to tape it down so that you have a nice front. So this one, again, to the magic of television, should look like this. Okay, and if I'm comparing the 2 rockets, you know this one's much tighter and this one's much looser. Okay, so that's the building of your rockets. And then what you're going to do, very simply, is once you've built your 2 rockets, you're going to take your straw. Okay, very important with this. So what you can do is take your straw. You're going to insert your straw. A couple of things. Don't insert it all the way. You want to leave a little bit of a gap, and it always helps if you tilt it upwards. Okay, and what you're going to do is take each rocket, and you're going to fire each rocket off 2 or 3 times. So you're going to take this rocket, fire it off 2 or 3 times. I would say 3, and the reason we do this again is to get like an average distance, so we kind of have an idea. Remember, science is about replicating things. So if we do things once, it might be an anomaly where it doesn't go as far or too far. If we do it several times, we'll probably get a truer answer of how far this rocket can travel. Okay, so you're going to take your rocket, you're going to insert your straw, tip your head back, and you're going to fire. And there goes your rocket. And then what I want you to do is measure how long that takes, come back and do it again. So 3 with the conical rocket. Okay, that's this kind of funny looking guy. And then, of course, 3 with the more tightly wound rocket. And what you're going to do is compare the distances. What went further, and, of course, explaining why you think went further. All right? That's the key here. Think about the airflow, the air pressure. Think about why you think things are happening. Okay? The third thing you're going to do for this experiment is you're going to take your super skinny rocket, all right, and you're going to create fins. Right? Fins are kind of like wings. In essence, at the back of your rocket. And you'll notice there'll be construction paper at the back table. What I kind of do is, to kind of help me, is you've noticed that I've kind of cut the corners off here. So to make a fin, it's kind of like a triangle. So what I like to do is just merely snip off a corner, and you get a kind of a triangle. Okay. You may have to shape it a bit for the size of your rocket, but that's the idea. Also, what I like to do is put a little bend. You notice I have a little bend in the fin here. Okay? Because that helps us to adhere it. So I would take a little piece of tape, and then you would tape it down, and there we have a little fin. And you're going to do 4 fins for your rocket. Okay? Murphy has found the other airplane. So you can do 4 fins for your rocket all the way around, and then you're going to fire the same procedure. So you'll take your Strawket, you'll insert it, okay, and you'll fire. Okay? And the idea is to see, are the fins making a difference? Are the fins helping it to go straighter, further, that kind of thing? Think in terms of directionality too. Does your rocket go straight? Does it go curved? When you're comparing it even to the conical rocket. Right? Again, at the end, you have a series of questions that are comparing things, and we are leading up to our culminating activity that will have you then examining all those properties of flight we're looking at and applying them. So, safe rocketing.